What is going on YouTube? It is SA here and welcome guys to our first FIFA 14 video on this channel. And as you can see, it is on the demo. I played with Barcelona versus Manchester City. Those are obviously just the two teams, well, two of I think 7 teams on the demo. I'm not exactly sure how many teams there are, but I do know there's, I think there's AC Milan, there's Dortmund, there's New York Red Bulls, and there's Boca Juniors, and I'm not sure what the other team is. But those are just some of the teams that are on the demo. And as you can see, I did play with Barcelona. I did play as Barcelona against Manchester City because they are the two probably the biggest teams on the demo, but there are some other big teams on there if you want to play with them as well. So let's just go on to basically my first impressions of the game. And this really is my first impression because this was actually my very first game I played and the only game I played. Obviously, since doing this, well, as I'm recording this now, that is the only game I played. By the time it is uploaded, I've obviously would have played more, and I'll be able to give you guys a little bit more in-depth look at the game in future videos. So stay tuned for those. This is just going to be focusing on just the first things that you'll notice when picking up or playing FIFA 14. So just a note, guys, this is the demo. And I think the demo is like made in June or something, because the demo is actually what they play at Gamescom. So it's not obviously the final build, and there will be some changes in the final game, but the basis is there, the main features are there, which I am going to tell you. And there are some changes. They're not like very big notable changes, especially in terms of the graphics. I mean, we're reaching the kind of the end of the console generation now, and there's not much horsepower left to use, and graphics don't look much different from FIFA 13. If you were playing on this, and you probably would notice the difference from last year, but there's nothing to complain about that. Even if we had the same FIFA 13 graphics, I wouldn't complain, because it still looks a very good game. But what is improved, at least what I thought, was the stadium. Stadiums look better, and also the player faces. The player faces, at least some of them as well, look very good. So it is good to see that they're still kind of improving it. Because I could have easily bought out the same graphics, because we are obviously reaching the end of the generation, as I said, and they're obviously doing the PS4 and Xbox One versions as well. So it's nice to see they still kind of put those player faces into this game as well, and made some of the improvements to the stadium. So going on to the actual gameplay changes. The first thing which I noticed, and I'm sure the first thing that you'll notice as well, is the game is slower from last year. It does seem to be happening every year. The game does seem to be going slower and slower, and it's not like slow in a bad way. It's in a good way. It feels slower, and it feels a little bit more realistic. The players feel like they got a little bit more weight to them, especially the ball as well. The ball, when you pass the ball, it feels a little bit more weighty. And it definitely is a good feeling. It feels a lot realistic. As you can see, I made some very silly passes in this game because I simply had to get used to it, and that's a good thing. I like when I go into a new game, especially a game like FIFA, for example. It's a nice feeling when you're doing bad and you have to get used to it, because it just shows that there have been improvements made, and it is basically a different game. Like I said, gameplay changes have been made, and you have to kind of get used to it and get better at it, and I like that feeling when you pick up a new game. So hats off to EA for making these changes. And so like I said, the players definitely have a weight to them, and passes feel a lot more realistic in this game. And as I said before, I made some very silly mistakes with the passing. My passing completion wasn't very good in this game, and pace, in terms of pace, if it is a major factor in this game, not as much as last year, definitely not as much as last year. You'll see in around, I think, the 68th minute or something is where I think Aguero tries to get past Puyol, and then I kind of use Puyol's strength to push Aguero away, and that's a good thing, obviously, because maybe in previous years Aguero would have just ran past Puyol, but strength is a very big factor in this game now, which is good to see, because in previous years, strength has kind of, it's always been there, but it's kind of been, it's just kind of been forgotten of, and it's nice to see it playing such a big part in this year's game. And players also feel a lot more unique as well, which I did find. For example, that Puyol incident which I was talking about. Puyol is obviously a very big man, and therefore he will have a lot of strength. But you know, that's not always a good thing. There's obviously advantages to that and disadvantages. So he's not kind of the most flexible of people, I guess. He doesn't have the best of agility, so when he's kind of moving around, it does take a lot of time, and it is a little bit harder compared to the likes of, for example, Neymar, who is obviously a little bit more skinnier, smaller, and you know, he feels a little bit more lightweight on his feet. He's obviously a lot more quicker. He moves around a bit more quicker, and again, you know, it just adds to the realism, and that again brings disadvantages as well, because when Neymar's up against a big guy like Company, it's going to be hard to get past Company, because Company can obviously use that strength. So it's nice to see all of these advantages and disadvantages come into play, especially on these kind of one-on-one situations. So it does definitely again bring that realism. And probably one of my favourite things in this game is just the way that the players feel. The players feel very unique when on the ball, and some of the mistakes I was making, guys, in this match was the fact that I was kind of holding the sprint button down constantly. I was kind of playing as if I was playing FIFA 13, and looking back at it now, I should have kind of held off the sprint button, especially when receiving the ball and when actually just sprinting with the ball. You can see I was with Pedro here, and you really do have to take care with your touches when sprinting with the ball, because sometimes when you just keep on holding it, he takes a big touch, and again, that just adds to the fact that EA are trying to get rid of pace in the game. Now you simply can't just go with, I don't know, like Ribery down the wing and just hold on the sprint button. It just doesn't work like that, because you will lose the ball, because eventually a player will take a heavy touch. So you do have to kind of take care when you're running. And again, like I said before, the realism is added to the game, and it's a nice thing to see, because basically the more realistic, the more better the game's going to be, and that is what I guess EA are trying to achieve in this game. So you can see we were near the end of the match now. I think it was only 2-minute halves, which you obviously do get in every year at the demo. But for some reason don't seem to be in the final game. I'm not sure what happens there. But you can see I put in a ball there to, I think, Messi, but it looked like he was offside anyway. So it was full-time 0-0. Sorry for the very poor game, but like I said, it was my first game. So I was struggling to get the hang of it. Hopefully in future games now I can bring you some better clips and some more goals. And speaking of goals, shooting is obviously a big part of this game, especially in FIFA 14, where you know a lot of improvements have been added. And unfortunately, I can't really tell you much about it, because I could hardly get a shot off. The only shots I took really were in penalties. I think I had 1 or 2 shots in the game, but shooting does feel, especially from those 1 or 2 shots, it feels a lot better. I can't really say much about it as of yet, because like I said, I haven't really tried it out. So in the next video, which I do in the demo, where I'll play as obviously 2 different teams, so I'll probably play as Dortmund and Milan. And if you want to see any other teams play, just tell me in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to upload that video. So yeah, I'll tell you more about shooting now in the next video, because I just simply haven't had the time or haven't had the opportunity to basically take a shot properly and just see the improvements made. I don't obviously want to talk about it if I haven't tried it, because then I wouldn't be telling you the correct information. So that is the end of this video now, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this very first impression video. There wasn't much to talk about, because like I said, this was simply my first impression. This was basically my first game of the game, and it is what I felt and what I thought of the game as I started it, basically. So I'm going to try and go on now and play some more games, and I'll tell you more about it now in future videos. So yeah, guys, if you haven't already, do subscribe so you can keep up to date with the future FIFA 14 videos. I'll have an Ultimate Team video coming up as well soon. And if have enjoyed this video, guys, please be sure to give it a like, and please share your thoughts in the comment section below. And I'll see you now in the next video.